Hello, and welcome back to Colonel O'Truth's Miniature Issues. In the last two episodes you've seen me construct the bridge and the Waterwheel for the area of Undercrag City known as the Cascade. In this video I'll cover how these were finally installed. There's a lot going on in this little corner of Undercrag. There's the mill house, crag house, a door in the rock face that could go anywhere, a little staircase, and overlooking it all, of course, the aqueduct. With the water painted, I add a coat of varnish, to which I add some acrylic inks. This is a little recipe I've come up with, which I repeat every time to keep it consistent. When adding ink to varnish, you really don't need very much. It looks opaque at the moment, but it will dry clear and slightly colourful. I pour a healthy blob into the river and work it around, overlapping slightly onto the riverbanks, until I'm happy with the effect. You can see to the left of the picture the chasm that the water finally cascades into. This will have to be made to look like a series of waterfalls disappearing into the dark. I prepared the foundations of the bridge some time ago. Now I'm slicing into them to set the bridge finally into place. Being very careful here. By this point the varnish on the river has dried and I've added dry brushed white streaks. I'll be going over this with Mod Podge to give it a glossy appearance later. If you'd like to see how I built this bridge, I'll put a link below to the episode which I covered this in. In the meantime, here are some of the highlights. Undercrag City is quite a large project and has been developing for about 6 months. If you'd like to know more, please go back and watch the earlier episodes, and of course subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's happening next. Now, here's the Mod Podge I mentioned. Mod Podge is great. It doesn't settle flat like varnish. You can stipple it and create textures. So for a top coat on a river, it's ideal. While the Mod Podge dries, it's time to put the bridge in place. Now the Waterwheel. I covered the construction of the Waterwheel in my last episode. I'll put a link below, and in the meantime, here are some highlights. It was a very fiddly piece to build, but I think the end results were worth it. There's a hole in the side of the mill that's been waiting for this. And here's the piece of wall that supports the end of the wheel. With everything in place, it's time to start hiding the joins. This is Das clay. It's air drying and pretty good for detailing. My trusty HB pencil. The materials and tools I use for these models are very simple. HB pencils, bits of cardboard, matchsticks, After a little bit of work around the bridge, I've decided to fill in the gap between the riverbank and the wall. Just dropping blobs of clay in and smoothing them out with a brush loaded with PVA. Using PVA instead of just a wet brush to smooth the clay stops the clay cracking and helps it harden. I worked in quite a lot in the end. One of the enjoyable things about the Undercrag project is I don't know what's going to happen. As things occur to me, I do them, and the model takes on a life of its own. Now adding extra glue to the banks. And this is sand. If you're wondering about the size of this model, that's a teaspoon. With the sand dry and painted and a little bit of static grass added, the cascade's looking nearly finished. I'll tell you about the waterfall in a later episode, so I hope you'll keep watching. And I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.